Back with another one on Don't Believe Me, read it for yourself.
This is an attempt to prevent the American people from knowing the facts about how we could have prevented 9/11, and people are covering it up today. And they're ruining the career of a military officer to do it. And we can't let it stand. I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican, you can't let a lieutenant colonel's career be ruined because of some bureaucrat in the Defense Intelligence Agency. If we let that happen, then no one that wears the uniform will ever feel protected.
A few moments later.
I accidentally said how I really feel about stuff, and I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that.
You can do that here.
I didn't know you're supposed to like speak from the, you weren't supposed to speak from the heart when you got an interview, so I made that mistake and I actually spoke from the heart. And then a lot of people say, he seems kind of cocky, he seems kind of arrogant, because I'll be mad because so many people diss me, and then like I sold all these records, so I was just like a sore winner. So, you know, I just apologize to everybody for, you know, keeping it so real.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless. You take water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
I found the Epstein file.
Good. I was just going to ask you about the Epstein file.
Were you really? Isn't that funny? We were both going to say the same thing.
That's funny.
And they say, we don't need him. Freedom. He's a dictator.
That's un-American. So take your fucking shit and get out of here.
No! This is America!
I'm tired of the promise of Armageddon. Bring it on.
That's all you've got here, folks. Mile after mile of mall after mall. America the Beautiful, one big transcontinental commercial cesspool. Consumption. It's the new national pastime. Fuck baseball. It's consumption. The only true, lasting American value that's left. Buying things. Buying things. People spending money they don't have on things they don't need. Money they don't have on things they don't need.
I'm not like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I have something inside which is burning. And I look around and this life and everything I see is not for me. I'm supposed to be something different. have to be something different.
You stay in bed. You shut your eyes. It's not a premeditated act. It's not an act at all, but a failure to act. An act left undone.
If you really want to be free, you gotta learn to not listen to other people and their opinions, and you just gotta do what you want to do. But then if you really want to be super free, you gotta stop listening to yourself, because sometimes the things you're saying about yourself aren't as good as what other people are saying about you, and sometimes you're worse on yourself than others. So the trick to the whole thing is just be completely delusional, because that really, if you're going to accomplish anything in life, you got to be delusional, or else you won't do anything except sit around wishing you were a little more delusional. Okay, have a super freaking awesome delusional day and stuff. I believe in you. Okay, bye.
What? Do you ever wake up or do something and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Jeffrey's Morning Tide.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
And at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's just a word, okay? Nigger.
Give me that phone so I can throw it. I want to throw it far away so you never see it again.
Hobbes was initiated into a satanic coven as a child by his grandfather and continued participating for many years. I recently asked Glenn about his involvement in the importance of Halloween to the occultist.
I was involved in it as a child. Of course, I was a generational Satanist, what they call a generational Satanist, and what that means is that my family was involved in it and their family before them.
Glenn, could you tell us about your involvement in any rituals at Halloween as a child?
There was another little girl that was involved in the occult with me, and her name was Becky. Now, Becky was a different type of child. She was blessed to be a sacrifice. I was being blessed to be a high priest, where she was being blessed and born into the coven there to be a sacrifice. Now, we were in a ritual where we were married together. It was a marriage to the beast. And me and the little girl were married together, and there was a lot of sex that took place and a lot of blood that was spilt over us, joining us together.
When do Halloween rituals actually begin, and what is the ultimate purpose of Halloween?
Well, the ritual that I remember the most clearly began about the end of September. Me and the little girl, the one I mentioned named Becky, the was very concentrated at that time. We were taken into several rooms where our clothing was removed. We spent the next couple of weeks in a kind of a shack where a lot of rituals went on, where a lot of animals were killed. They summoned Lucifer and his spirit to come and possess me, and so that I would be blessed to take over the position of the high priest at a certain point in time. Now, Halloween night, they had again put me and the little girl in the back of this van, and we again drove off, which seemed like for a long time. We were driving once again, and we finally came to this stop. They took the little girl out and they left me in the van. I could hear a lot of commotion that was going on outside. People that were screaming and yelling and this low murmuring and moaning noise that was going on, like some kind of a low chanting noise that was going on. So I knew in my mind there was some type of a ritual going on because I'd heard that many times before. You know, it was real common to see people fall on the ground and convulse and go into convulsions during rituals and stuff with the demonic presence that were around. And finally, a woman came to the back of the van and she said, "It's time to go." And she brought me out of the van, and I could see that there was just a lot of people around. Some were dressed in dark brownish kind of robes with hoods over them. They took me up and they led me up to this stone altar. And I remember I saw the little girl, and she was on the altar. Now at first, you know, I just wondered what was going on because you never knew. I mean, they used the altar for a lot of different things. They could have just been an animal over, could have been a abuse from the high priest onto her. You know, it was a hard thing to know for sure. Well, they ushered me up to the altar, and I could see that they had bound her feet. They had her feet spread apart, her legs, and they had bound them to the ends of the altar, and they had taken her arms, which were laying out this way, and roped them to the altar, which had little kind of like hooks, which they could bind the ropes around. And she was really white. I remember seeing her, and she was just real pale and real white. And I noticed that they had slit the bottoms of her feet and her wrists, and they were taking the blood that was running out of those areas and putting them into chalices and passing those cups around to different people who were partaking of her blood. Then the high priest, he took the athami, or the ritual knife, and he picked it up and he put my hand on it, and then he forced it into her chest. So when I think back on Halloween, you know, over that period of time that happened, you know, that was the climax event, Halloween night, where they killed that innocent little girl. And this is something that's happening every Halloween. That's not just an isolated event. I mean, there are children all over the world who are losing their lives during Halloween night, and yet we, as a society, we go out and celebrate it, and we go door to door and we ask for candy, and it's a big celebration to us. And I think it's quite ironic how one group of people are thinking it's fun and another group of people are taking human life, and yet they don't, you know, there seems to be this wall and nobody wants to face the facts of what's really going on.
I mean, people have brought up these videos, these sermons, they've made you out that, I mean, how do you look at it?
I would really like to, I know a lot of people are kind of like, well, Dr. Stella, for you. I don't have one, let me put it this way, I don't even have one bone in my body that feels vilified. Really. I'm one of those, I'm like a totally like thick-skinned, number one. Number two, I'm like, I'm not sensitive about stuff. I don't have a sensitive bone in my body, so I really don't care.
When people bring up your religious beliefs, does that bother you?
Bother me? You kidding me? Let me tell you something. I had this video I did about incubus, succubus spirit, which are like demonic spirits that sleep with people at night. This video...
So, to some people, that's a far-out concept.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Listen, that video, before CNN started promoting it, had about maybe 175,000 views. Do you know how many views it's at right now?
How many?
600 and something thousand views. CNN has been the greatest promoter of my ministry. Let me tell you something. I'm God's battle axe. My ministry has fire. if you watch that video, it's gonna hit you like fire.
But you're not concerned that people are using that video to undermine your position medically?
How does that undermine my position?
Well, it's just not. I mean, it's off the beaten path to say that demons are sleeping with you overnight.
But demons are sleeping with people.
Are they?
Yes. People call me from all over the world for it. They just exposed it. Do you know how many people are suffering this, that are like texting me, Dr. Emmanuel, I watched the video and I'm delivered? CNN just exposed it. CNN has done like the greatest job of promoting my ministry. You kidding me? I ain't worried about them. Also, somebody's like, demons are not gonna... What? Demons exist. And in fact, the people that are talking are probably demon possessed. I would like to cast a few demons out of them. Okay, let me see. You CNN workers, let's sit in the same room. 1 hour with any of them. Let's see whether they can stand me sitting in the room with them and praying. They'll probably be on the floor, wiggling and wiggling on the floor like snakes.
Just out of curiosity, now I'm curious about the demons. I mean, are they physically bodied demons, or how does it work?
Why would they be called demons if they were physically bodied?
I don't know. I'm trying to understand.
Demons are spirits. They are dismembered spirits.
Okay.
Oh, let me tell you. You want to find out the origin of demons? I can tell you that.
I need the short version.
Okay, the short version is that in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, when the world was flooded, when they had Nephilims in the land and the world was flooded, these creatures their spirits were dismembered. That means their bodies were flooded and their spirits float around. And those are demons. The other demons also come from fallen angels. When Lucifer was cast out of heaven, he was cast out of 1/3 of the angels. So these are demons.
Okay.
And at the mention of the name of Jesus, they bow. And I am a demon buster. I would cast it out of them CNN anchors. Jesus, I would love to be in the room with them.
So focusing on the bad side of the world can kind of draw you back into your own bad and make you focus on the hell, even if there are heavens available to you.
I change cars like other guys change their fucking shoes. I'm a thief.
I am the last guy in the world that you want to fuck with.
I've been taking these Huggies and whatever cash you got.
I know I'm guilty. That's what I said in the beginning of my statement. I said I'm guilty, but what about my second chance?
Trump signs order to criminally charge those who burn U.S. flag in protest. So it looks like protest is the problem, and that's skirting on the grounds of First Amendment rights. And what we find is when people get into this, it's a very emotional issue. Patriotism rides very high in the flag between more or less sacred, and we have to be cautious about how we handle it.
Yeah, I know it was an executive order that Trump signed yesterday, and it does feel an awful lot like an attempt to deflect people's eyes from things that are upsetting his base. You know, the Epstein files, what's happening in Israel and Gaza. This is, I think, probably supposed to be sort of a feel-good move to get people on board. But then again, these aren't the 1980s anymore, and as you say, in the late 80s, the Supreme Court ruled that flag burning is a form of expression protected by the First Amendment. So we're sort of going back to that again in a sort of jingoistic way. If we can put that first clip up, this is from The Guardian. I just clipped this when they first came out yesterday afternoon. Trump signs order to criminally charge those who burn U.S. flag in protest. Now this is interesting because he's going to try to circumvent the Supreme Court decision. And I go to the next one, you'll see what he said. Donald Trump signed an executive order on Monday instructing federal prosecutors to pursue criminal charges against individuals who burn American flags during protests. The order tells U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi to look at cases where people burn flags and see if they can be charged with other crimes like disturbing the peace or breaking environmental laws. And the purpose of that is to get around the 1989 decision by the Supreme Court in Texas versus Johnson that ruled that destroying the flag is protected political expression under the First Amendment. Now we do have a clip to hear what President Trump was talking about when he signed the EO.
If you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, You get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they?
Yeah, incitement.
Incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record.
Because Michael Tracy, who we both know, is very insightful. He manages to get people irritated with him on all sides. If you put that next clip up, he noticed something very interesting in this executive order. He said, what are the odds that Trump actually read his own executive order? It doesn't impose 1 year in jail if you burn the flag. It makes flag burning a higher investigative priority to see if other crimes incidental to the flag burning can be charged. It specifies no jail term. So he may not have even read his own executive order.
Right. 24 hours a day for the rest of our lives, the powers that be are hard at work, dumbing us to death. So, to defend ourselves and fight against assimilating this dullness into our thought processes, we must learn to read, to stimulate our own imaginations, to cultivate our own consciousness, our own belief systems. We all need these skills to defend, to preserve our own minds.
Just remember, it'll be over in 3 minutes.
It's a good thing I took my antipsychotic tranquilizer.
Probably feel it already.
Oh.
Oh, you alright?
Yeah. Cool.
You need help? I'm here for you, buddy. What do you need? Decided to wreck everything in the room. You're gonna be coming back soon. You alright? Holy shit. Looks like you're coming back. You usually snap right back. Are you back? You need any help, just ask.
Fucking shit. No, I get everything. You fucking better believe I believe. No. Yeah. Physics, concept, reality. Up, down, left, right, googly got the alphabet, Chinese types. I'm making a statement, damn it. Everybody's with me, man.
It's all out the window.
But first.
Hi, it's Dana Horchowski. It is October the 9th, 2009. And I'm going to read you The Secret Covenant. I only have 10 minutes. It's on the Polly Hicks section of CanadaStreetNews.com. And this is dedicated to the Jesuits, the High Freemasons, and the High Knights of Columbus, and those that have pledged a blood oath allegiance to the Luciferians, secret societies. The Secret Covenant. It will be so large, so vast, it will escape their perception. Those who will see it will be thought of as insane. We will create separate fronts to prevent them from seeing the connection between us. We will behave as if we are not connected to keep the illusion alive. Our goal will be to accomplish one drop at a time so as to never bring suspicion upon ourselves. This will also prevent them from seeing the changes as they occur. We will always stand above the relative field of their experience, for we know the secrets of the Absolute. We will work together always and will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks. We will keep their lifespan short and their minds weak until pretending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge of science and technology in subtle ways so they will never see what is happening. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators, and sedatives in food and water, also in the air. They will be blanketed by poisons everywhere they turn. The soft metals will cause them to lose their minds. We will promise to find a cure from many of our fronts, yet we will feed them more poison. The poisons will be absorbed through their skin and mouths, and they will destroy their minds and reproductive systems. From all this, their children will be born dead, and we will conceal this information. The poisons will be hidden in everything that surrounds them, and what they drink, eat, breathe, and wear. We must be ingenious in dispensing the poisons, for they can see far. We will teach them that the poisons are good, with fun images and musical tones. Those they look up to will help. We will enlist them to push our poisons. They will see our products being used in films and will grow accustomed to them and will never know their true effect. When they give birth, we will inject the poisons into the blood of their children and convince them it's for their help. We will start early on, when their minds are young, and we will target their children and what the children love most, sweet things.
Look what's happened in the last 23 years. A disgrace. I personally investigated the Oklahoma City bombing case. Huge cover-up. Jack Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. Bobby Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. World Trade Center, huge cover-up. Okay. Terrorism. They're using it as an excuse to take away our constitutional rights and our civil liberties. The Bilderbergs, the Illuminati, Bilderberg, New World Order, globalists are the element behind this. It dovetails into the satanic movement, and this movement has infiltrated into our intelligence community, the once great FBI and the CIA.
The final goal is to eradicate humanity as we know it. Once you understand the final destination, it becomes much easier to look back and identify the psychological conditioning, the biological tampering, the cultural grooming and the educational prepping that we have been subjected to for decades in preparation to making us accept a post-human future. It takes a lot of physical and psychological abuse to get an intelligent species like ours to agree to its own extinction. Most, if not all, that has transcended in the last 60 years was designed to get us closer to accepting such a dystopian reality. Whether you care to accept it or not, we live in a hyper-controlled matrix where our perception of reality is meticulously planned, managed, and executed in order to control and steer us in whichever direction they wish. And the direction is a post-human world. For this, they first needed to destabilize, dehumanize, and demoralize humanity through every means possible. The destruction of the nuclear family, children being indoctrinated by the state, abortion, the eradication of God and spirituality from education, life in megacities and away from nature, toxic food, air and water, social media, replacing real human connection and interaction, engineered financial crisis and taxation, endless wars and massive migration, stress, anxiety, depression, drugs and alcohol, constant fear-mongering, moral relativism as the new religion, and I could go on and on about how humanity has been influenced and forced to move away from all the things that give us strength, security, purpose, and meaning. A weak, immoral, disconnected, ignorant, and unhealthy population is an easy target for the next stage, the creation of an entire generation of androgynous beings. Masculinity is under attack psychologically, culturally, and biologically. Women are being replaced in sports, entertainment, and politics by men pretending to be women. And children are being indoctrinated at school to think that gender is a choice. The transgender movement is not a grassroots movement. It comes from the top. It has nothing to do with people's freedom of expression, sexuality, or civil rights. It's an evil psyop with a clear agenda to get us closer to transhumanism by making us question the most fundamental notion of human identity, our gender. If you don't know who you are, if you already identify as a hybrid between a man and a woman, you will be easily convinced to become a hybrid between human and machine. Gender ideology is the 2 + 2 = 5 from George Orwell's 1984 dystopian novel. It's the final test to see whether we will follow the most absurd party line towards our own extinction. But 2 + 2 = 4. And no matter how you choose to dress, call yourself, or change your physique, will not change that. The sad reality, though, is that in the gaslighting process to get us closer to a post-human future, they have mentally and physically harmed an increasing number of children and young people, and it's only getting worse. This must be stopped.
Like, I went with this one guy, and he just, like, he looked like a lizard. Like, I was so scared. Like, he was sitting there, and I turned him, I was like, oh my God. It's like, holy shit, he looks just like a lizard, and I had to go. It was really bad.
So you just left? Wow.
Immediately.
So for the final father-fucking time, say it louder! I'm upset! Yeah, I'm in the studio, man, because I'm the best player. Why don't you just back off, bro? Fuck off, tell you talk, turn my pages, bitch! Or are you gonna be on my fucking time?
I can play it, okay?
I said not now! If you want the fucking part heard.
Not quite my tempo.
When Hitler talked about a 1,000-year Reich, and Bush talks about 1,000 points of light, there's more than just a small similarity. They are one and the same. We're talking about a fourth Reich of the rich, and that's what we're talking about with the New World Order. They want it all. And that fiat funding money that we use isn't money at all. It's debt in the privately owned Federal Reserve.
That's absolutely correct. And since you brought up the Federal Reserve, let's look at the back of our dollar bill. It's also a Masonic symbol, but it's the symbol of the Illuminati, which controls all your money through the Federal Reserve, all the U.S. government money, and through other world banks, all the world's money. And this is basically the all-seeing eye of Lucifer, Satan, the devil. And what this inscription means here is announcing the birth of the satanic New World Order government.
It's an Egyptian pyramid. Why an Egyptian pyramid is on an American dollar bill?
Well, it's a symbol of slavery, Jordan, because that pyramid was put together with slave labor.
Right, but it was also one of the greatest bricklaying projects the world has ever known. And bricklayers are referred to as brick masons. So it is a symbol of the Masonic orders of the world. And it is a very powerful symbol that has been used by the ancient secret societies. And I am here to tell you that that pyramid called Cheops Pyramid is a very important symbol.
They rushed this thing through on December 23rd. That could have been challenged later on, but once it had been signed into law by the President of the United States, there was no more public criticism. In 1914, they organized the 12 Federal Reserve banks. The American people had no idea that there was only one Federal Reserve Bank, the Bank of New York, Federal Reserve Bank of New York, which was controlled by 5 big New York banks, which in turn were controlled by 3 subsidiary banks of the Bank of England in London. The other 11 banks, as was pointed out later, were simply so much expensive window dressing. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York has always been the money center bank. The other banks have rubber-stamped whatever monetary proposals were advanced by the president of that bank, and he himself simply represented those 5 banks which held the controlling 53% of stock in that bank. Now, in 1984, I went to the chief administrator of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, Joseph A. Coyne, in Washington. I just dropped in on him. I stopped at the Federal Reserve building. I said, I'm going to catch this guy. I had ordered from the Federal Reserve Board the original organizational certificates of each of the 12 Federal Reserve banks in 1914, which showed exactly which banks bought how much stock, and those banks exist today, and they own substantially the same amount of stock today. There have been mergers, there have been transfers, but because the Federal Reserve System was set up as a monopoly, they provided in the Federal Reserve Act that the stock could not be bought, sold, or traded. Therefore, you have never been able to buy a single share of stock in any Federal Reserve Bank because there is not a stockbroker in the country who can obtain a share for you at any price. This has never been publicized. It's not known by the American people.
All of the assets that you've worked hard in your life to acquire, your money in the bank, your home, and your business, you're going to establish a personal property trust for your business. And then for your house, you're going to establish a land trust. Now, for your money in the bank, you're going to establish another personal property trust. Now, even if your home is still financed, you have a mortgage, you can still do this. Now, once you have each individual trust established for each one of these, your money, your house, and your business, that's when you put the living trust. You're going to establish a living trust as your beneficiary, not yourself. This is a layering strategy. Then, once the living trust is established, that's when you establish yourself as the beneficiary over the living trust, which is the beneficiary over each individual trust of your assets. This means you own nothing but control everything. This is a strategy of the very wealthy. They don't teach this in public school. This equals no lawsuits, no liability, and no probate. So stay tuned for next episode of Unmanipulating America.
Anybody who fills out, everyone that fills out a 1040 form and they signed it under penalty of perjury as true, correct, and complete are liars. They're liars. They wouldn't know if they don't know and are not trained. We're talking general people, and even those that are trained, still liars. They don't know because they've never read the tax code. If you've never read the tax code, you don't know if it's true, correct, and complete. And you know damn well that that the IRS is going to tell you if it's true, correct, and complete. But when you submit that paperwork to the IRS under penalty of perjury, they're relying on your testimony as true, correct, and complete. And that's how they're going to deal with you. That's giving away your power.
Freemason regalia from a Freemason book. They're proud that these kings were all Freemasons. So the whole war situation is being planned by Freemasons, who are being run by who? By the Jesuits. Now let's have a look at America quickly. Here is this grand building, the Capitol. There is the foundation stone, and it says, laid Masonically, September 17, 1932. Okay, so by that time, America was ruled by Freemasonry. Of course, the people are totally unaware. The institutions continue as before, but they are all being infiltrated. If you look at the architecture, the eagles, the symbolism, what you have is sun worship. You have Mithraism displayed here. The street plan of Washington is Masonic. You have the upside down goat of Mendes in the street plan. Then you have the compass and the set square, and everything is in blocks of 13, and the Masonic temples are on the 13th Street, etc. The whole street plan of Washington is Masonically laid. So it's dedicated to Lucifer. Of course, the people are unaware of this. The White House is then built with this tremendous stela over there, the height of which is 555 feet. Not 666, that belongs to someone higher in Rome. This is 555. And isn't it interesting that 555 is the number that Hollywood uses? Have you ever heard when they say, what's the telephone number on any TV program or any one of those? Oh, it's 555, blah, 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 blah. Have you heard of that? It's dedicated to Hollywood. By the way, in Hollywood is the wood they use to make a witch's staff. So it's dedicated to Lucifer. It's witchcraft. But that's just besides the point. So here is the stela. Who laid these foundations? The Freemasons. So let's ask them what it means. Here is the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. You're going to get a better source than that. Obelisks were originally erected in honor of the sun god. The connection comes from the Egyptian worship of the phallus. So there stands a male, whatever, in the White House. So we don't have to go. It's dedicated to Osiris and to Isis. And anyway, that is the structure over there. The military structure is a pentagon, which is the high center of the pentagram into which, for example, 13 witches would step in order, 12 around one, in order to propagate a curse.
In rare moments it happens when you hear great music or when you see a great movie. Very rarely it happens that you have moments of deep illumination and moments where you know that you are not alone anymore.
Have you considered the possibility that he is disfigured, or that he may believe he is disfigured?
You even have a scar on your ear? You got anything on there?
I do.
What do we say? What do you got
so, right over here.
Yes.
Oh, it's a tiny little
See,
mark.
It zicked right there.
Yeah. But it healed up pretty fucking good.
Well, it's pretty good, yeah. It's little...
Mere puppets.
How many times you got to hear Trump say...
The central casting.
What do you think that means? What do you think... What is Donald Trump's motive to constantly say, not once, a billion times, central casting, central casting. Look at this guy, central casting, central casting. And I'm gonna go on a limb here. I don't believe in the whole assassination thing. I see the professional wrestling game. It's professional wrestling. They script it, you play the bad guy, we're gonna fight in public, we do our photo op, then we give it to the public, and then we control their emotions. You get this side, and you guys get this side. And that's what they do. I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I couldn't stand what was happening before him, but I do watch from a distance all of it.
What if I told you that there was a company called Palantir, and their entire existence was to hear your whispers so they could predict what you would do next? Now, what if I told you it was backed by the founder of PayPal and the CIA? What if I told you Palantir was quietly connected to your bank statements, social media, medical records, and a lot more? Then what if I told you their entire purpose was to understand and blueprint your life so they could predict exactly what you do next? If you want to know what that's called, it's called behavior surveillance. Like that grocery receipt from the time you went to the store at 11 p.m. We can't forget about that sudden change in your jogging pattern outside. They won't. Or your 3 a.m. Google search. You see, Palantir sends your personality anomalies directly to the government because you unknowingly gave them that right in the terms and agreements that you didn't read. Palantir isn't just surveillance, it's predictive governance. Control the data, control the decisions. Well, at that point, you can basically control anyone without them knowing that you're doing so. Palantir wasn't profitable for the first 17 years, and now their net worth is the same as Bank of America. And like I said, you gave them this ability when you did terms and agreements and didn't read it, gym memberships, and most of the smart devices that are in your home. Palantir is no longer a company. It is now a digital nervous system that takes care of the oh so fragile and insecure American people. The next time your thoughts shift or a new cycle tells you what to believe, ask yourself, is this really my decision?
In order to collaborate on a large scale, you need to convince everybody to believe in the same story. What really the engine of history is stories. And they don't even need to be true. Some of the most powerful stories in history were fictions.
Right.
But you need to get everybody, or at least a significant part of the population, to believe in the same story. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Science is not really a thing, at least this is my view as a historian. Science is not really about truth, it's about power. The real aim of science as a project, as an establishment, is not truth, it's power. Particular individuals, particular scientists may be very interested in the truth, personally. But as an institution, the real aim of science is power.
Those who own the data really own the future. We are reaching a point in human history that we have enough biological knowledge and we have enough computing power, and all you need in order to systematically hack millions of people is just the data. That to hack people means to know people better than they know themselves. To somebody in San Francisco, in Beijing, knows you, knows more about you than you know about yourself, about your medical condition, about your mental weaknesses, things that you did 5 years ago, 20 years ago, you completely forgot about them, they know it.
Right.
This is something we never faced before. Not even the KGB could do it.
Right.
And we are already beginning to see the emergence of such total surveillance regimes in places like Xinjiang, in places like in my own home country in Israel. We have this big laboratory of surveillance called the occupied territories, where you have 2.5 million guinea pigs of how to completely survey and control a population with very few soldiers. I mean, when you look at the numbers, it's amazing how few soldiers you need to control millions of people if you have their data.
After 9/11, America passed one of the most controversial laws in modern history, the Patriot Act. It was sold as protection, but it came at the cost of your rights. Signed into law by George W. Bush October 2001, the Patriot Act gave the government sweeping powers. The FBI could search your phone, emails, bank records, even your library history without you knowing. It expanded sneak and peek warrants, allowed indefinite detention of immigrants, and gave agencies massive surveillance authority. The NSA used it to justify full collection of Americans' phone metadata, every call, every number logged. Supporters claimed it was necessary to stop terrorism. Critics pointed out that it eroded the Fourth Amendment against unreasonable searches and made national security an excuse for unchecked government power. And the kicker, once those powers were granted, they didn't just go away. Even after reforms like the USA Freedom Act of 2015, many Patriot Act provisions live on in different forms, still shaping how surveillance works today. So while it was passed in the name of safety, the Patriot Act left a legacy, a government that can watch its own citizens closer than ever before. But as long as they call it patriotic, you'll never fight against it.
Welcome back. Now, sex and children. Stop right there, you might think, but don't say it. Because to hear the word stop is for many the biggest turn-on of all. Now, we have Judy Luton in the audience here. Judy, there you are. Righto, Judy. Now, just tell us what happened to you.
When I was 9,
Yeah.
I was abused by my uncle.
Sexually abused. Do you remember what he was like, your uncle? Was he a handsome man? Just look at me. Just look at me. Take it easy, okay? Just look at me. Right. Now, was he as handsome as me? Just for example.
No way.
Not quite. Stay looking at me. Just do that again. God. 12. Do you, if you fall over in the snow, do you make a couple of bumps? Probably do, don't you? Some adult channel. It is as easy. It's as easy as that, as that, for something to go wrong in a family. We had someone else here with a similar kind of problem. Who was it? Yeah, what happened to you?
My father abused me repeatedly between the ages of 4 and 16.
But it hasn't happened a lot recently?
No.
Good.
Wonder who I am anyway. What do I do as a job?
Come on, use your head, Steven.
Maybe I make my way through this sorry old world as clown.
Yeah, silly clown. Hey, clown.
It's funny to look at a clown.
I'm probably not a clown. Get out of here, clown. Shoot. Shoot, clown.
Maybe I'm a fry cook like my good old daddy, like father, like son. Hope not, sure don't want to smell like horse grease all day. Could be a fireman. Firemen are hunks.
This is what I probably am.
Oh yeah, that's what I am, a rock star, man.
Rock and roll! Look what I am.
I am doing it for the kick, for the pleasure of wiping the smirk off of Charlie Kirk's fucking small, ugly face.
I'm forward, deep in this jamming, and I'm whipping it round as a babe. I'm plugging on chase, gotta make the escasion. So I'm honest, this shit like I'm gigging. Went from Henny to sipping on bathing. I switched to a different pace and cut to the chase. Now they call me the sage. All over the net, I'm a bathing. I'm a warlord. Kilos under the floor.
The war can end tomorrow if Gaza, or rather if Hamas lays down its arms and releases all the remaining hostages. Gaza will be demilitarized. Israel will have overriding security responsibility. A security zone will be established on Gaza's border with Israel to prevent future terrorist incursions. A civilian administration will be established in Gaza that will seek to live in peace with Israel. 5 principles for concluding the war. 1, Hamas disarmed. 2nd, all hostages freed. 3rd, Gaza demilitarized. 4th, Israel has overriding security control. And 5, non-Israeli peaceful civilian administration. Given Hamas's refusal to lay down its arms, Israel has no choice but to finish the job and complete the defeat of Hamas. I don't want to prolong the war, I want to end the war.
The Israeli settlers plan to seize more land beyond the Palestinian West Bank and Gaza, aiming to restore what they claim are the biblical borders of Israel.
The borders of the Jewish state are the borders that were promised by God to Abraham, from the Euphrates to the Nile.
But it includes parts of some...
From Syria, from, of course, many countries. We have our Bible. This is the only document that matters. We do want to try to do it as much as possible, hand in hand with the nations of the world. But when the nations are too tough with us, then we do have some liberal measures we live by.
We left Jerusalem, heading to Yavin, just a step away from Gaza. The main settler organizations are holding a conference near the border to select the first Jewish families to settle in Gaza. We are the only media invited to cover it.
ברגע שאני שומע את אותם הפצצות בעזה, אני מרגיש שהעם שלי חזק. משמידים את הרע בעולם.
As we hear Israeli bombs falling on Gaza, they already discuss how much land each family will take, and the destiny of the people of Gaza, the exile.
מותר לגרש אותו ומותר להשתלט עליו. זה שלנו. זה שלנו והשם רוצה.
לא! משנה מה אנחנו. אבל זה לא מספיק. לא אחד ולא שתיים ולא שלוש. כל אחד מכם. מי זה טוב? זה אומר שנותנים לו לישון בשקט. אתה לא תישון בשקט. אנשים טועים, אוקיי, אבל... אני לא אתן לך לתכנן את עזה. עזה היא שלנו.
That same night, while Gaza is relentlessly being erased, they took a boat with the first families, ready to occupy the land of those who are being killed and starved to death.
המטרה של גרעיני ההתיישבות להתקרב ככל האפשר לעזה, לראות את עזה כולה ולהבין שמעתה והלאה עזה תהיה כולה יהודית.
בעזרת השם, עם ישראל ינצח ונזכה לבנות ולראות בשוב השם לציון ובשוב עם ישראל לחבל עזה.
Why talk about human
than democracy? What human rights? What democracy? What world order? When you have is complete destruction of houses and people in Gaza and Palestine. Abandon. We salute your spirit of struggle, and we will never leave you alone. Malaysians and many other friends are with you.
Here's how I see it. Let's keep it really simple for people. The West is in rapid decline. The British Empire was taken over by the Rothschilds banking cartel family, before World War I. And that's how they got the British Empire to create the fake state of Israel by the Balfour Declaration. Dear Lord Rothschilds, all this can be evidence, and you should know this by now. If you're not watching the Rothschilds fake news media, that would be CNN, BBC, Channel 7, 9, 10, ABC in Australia, etc., who will tell you a different narrative. The West is controlled by Israel. Israel is not the biblical Israel. It's a fake state started in 1948. America is a colony of Israel. The Israeli overlords have sucked the British Empire dry, and then they moved on to the American Empire. They've printed fake money by the control of the Federal Reserve since 1913, and they've bought up the world. They've bought up your politicians with the help of Epstein to blackmail them. They own your fake news media. They own your fake politicians. They create fake pandemics, and they push fake vaccines on you. How much more fakeness are you going to accept before you say this is bullshit? Israel is a fake state with fake Jewish imposters that print fake money, and why are we letting these fake imbeciles, or maybe real imbeciles, tell us what to do? Israel controls America. Just ask Trump. Who's your daddy, Trump? We know. Everyone got excited because Trump was throwing the globalist left faction, that's also Zionists, who also want a one world government, under the bus, which we're all happy for, because let's get rid of those woke left nutters, extremists. And we thought we were going to get a political revolution, but we got Trump. And we reported the Australian National Review back from Washington Live, when Trump and etc. spoke at CPAC, that unfortunately Israeli handlers are all over the Trump administration. You don't get to be a part of that unless you're a Zionist. Is Trump a Zionist? Ask him. He will tell you. Don't need me to tell you. We must get more Americans to love Israel. No, Trump, you were elected to tell Israel to go fuck itself. And any great nationalist leader will tell Israel how to fuck itself, just like Putin has, and just now how China's telling them, and Iran, etc. So you have two choices. You can have the Trump administration controlled by Netanyahu, the right faction, and if you're perfectly okay with dropping bombs on children, the only peace you want in the world is pieces of children's body parts blown over the Middle East, then if you're that sort of person and support that, then by all means stand with Israel and delude yourself you're a Christian and that you're going to heaven instead of hell. But if you're actually smart enough to go, I don't like left-wing nutters, and I don't like right-wing nutcases, so they fooled you in the left to stand with Ukraine, and they fooled some in the right to stand with Israel, but many people on the left and right are going, we don't want to buy into this BS, because if you stand with the left and stand with the right, that's both Zionist-controlled parties, so you think you live in a democracy, but you don't. The West is not a democracy. They only call a democracy a country that's controlled by the Rothschild central banking system. If they're not yet controlled by that, you're an evil dictator. Think Assad, Putin, Iranian leader, North Korea, etc. The only thing standing between a one world government takeover, whether it's by the left faction, Zionists, or right faction, who actually hate each other, both competing to take over the world, run out of Israel, or Israel 2. Where's Israel 2? That would be Ukraine. Who started that war? That's right, Israel. The control of the US State Department, George Soros and these left-wing nutters. And who's trying to start the war with Iran? That would be the right faction. So if you want to get rid of wars, if you're sick of paying massive income tax, if you want to end wars, end genocide, and being a little bitch for Israel, like Australia is, a Western vassal state where their leaders, both left and right, you voted for them left and right. If you keep on voting left or right, you lose, they win. It's time to go. There's another faction worth supporting. The only faction with power and the ability to reshape the future of humanity is the BRICS. What are the BRICS? Used to be just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, but it's now over 35 countries, including Indonesia, and now accounts for almost 46% of GDP and almost half the world's population. So those people are already chosen. I've chosen, as an investor, as a human being where I live, to join the BRICS. I left Australia, a declining vassal state that now is heading going to look like London before you know it, violent. The empires are collapsing rapidly. Unless Australia gets a nationalist leader and says both left and right faction Zionists, fuck off, then Australia is headed in a very predictable path. And Australia will fall fast because it's so expensive. So why do you have taxes? Israel, overlords, Rothschilds, income tax would be banned, the Fed would end, the printing of endless money would end, the 90% purchasing power you've lost since the 1960s, when for $1.60 an hour you get in the 1960s in America. To earn the same money today, you'd have to be paid $150 an hour, and Americans get paid, what, 7, 10, 15 bucks an hour? They've been ripped off 90%. So have you, because these motherfuckers are printing fake money, and they're also fake Jews, so it's not a Jewish issue. And there's many Zionists that aren't even Jewish. And let's not make an anti-Semite issue because they're not even Semites. So let's cut the BS. You are a slave. Most of you have massive mortgage, massive taxes. It might earn a high income if you live in Australia, but you're screwed financially. The solution is simple. BRICS. That's the only faction that wants a multipolar world. Trade, not war. Peace and prosperity. Stop genociding people. You stop blowing body parts, pieces of children over the Middle East and claiming you're a victim. We're surrounded by enemies. Well, fucking move. So until you understand that you're being played on the left, you stand with Ukraine, on the right, you stand with Israel. It's Israel 1 and Israel 2. They both want a one world government and to enslave you. Say no, like most of the world's population have. Demand your nation join the BRICS and tell the Rothschilds once and for all to go suck some dick.
Are you gay? Are you gay, just to establish for the debate?
No, I'm straight. Unlike you,
Okay.
I'm empathetic. I'm able to place myself in other people's shoes and see the world from a perspective and realize
You're
what's
empathetic.
wrong,
You
what's wrong,
place
even
yourself
when I'm
in
not
gay people's shoes?
Yeah, and I
So
can
you
see how
imagine
terrible
what it
people
would
like
be
you are.
like to be gay?
No, I imagine what it would be like to be at the receiving end of your fucking
The receiving
tyranny.
end.
Of
You
your
empathize
fucking
with the
tyranny.
receiving end, huh?
On July 16, 2007, thousands of evangelicals flocked to Washington for Christians United for Israel's annual Washington Israel Summit. Founded by Texas megachurch pastor John Hagee, Christians United for Israel lobbies Congress for an expansion of Israeli territory and a unilateral military attack on Iran.
Support the Jewish people and the state of Israel today, tomorrow, and forever until Messiah comes.
Our support of Israel has nothing to do with end times prophecy.
Are you looking forward to Armageddon?
I'm definitely am.
So you're looking forward to Armageddon?
Looking forward to Armageddon and looking forward to the cleansing of the earth.
Are you guys looking forward to the rapture?
Amen. Amen. I got a bag packed.
Then you, my friend, don't know crap about life. Therefore, it is time for America to embrace the words of Senator Joseph Lieberman and consider a military preemptive strike against our land to prevent a nuclear holocaust in Israel and a nuclear attack on America.
We're fighting what is behind the Muslim people, which is Satan. Because Satan is the one who's actually trying to destroy the Jewish race. Because that way he would destroy God's plan.
And what will happen is Israel and the Western world, in order to save our type of civilization, have got to fight the Muslims. And if we don't take out Iran one way or another, if we move out of Iraq, the Muslims are going to take over and they're going to follow us here.
Make your checks payable to CUFI, Christians United for Israel.
In 2001, Pastor Hagee earned over $1.2 million. His salary, which was approved by himself and members of his own family, is among the highest of any television evangelist. Pastor Hagee lives in a 5,275 square foot Greek Revival mansion and on a $2.1 million, 8,000-acre ranch.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Because I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. This is how this woman spoke to me. Yeah, this is how these people think, Whitney. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's. I swear to you. It was a theme all the time with them. With Eileen Guggenheim, with, Jeffrey Epstein, with Ghislaine. It was a theme. Jeffrey was a lot less horrible than Ghislaine as far as a human being, like just being around, because she was raping just as many children.
So the country club, you weren't allowed to go because it was
know.
only for, people of a certain religion
Jewish
and
people.
ethnicity. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's
Religious.
unfortunate.
I mean, they could cut you down, and it was so morally devastating. You just felt useless as a human being when you were told you're nothing because you're not Jewish, you're stupid, you're useless, a useless white girl, a poor little peasant. Just the things that I was called, I was just like, I believed it, because it was like a cult, the problem. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the way Jeffrey and Ghislaine spoke about African Americans. It was like, it made my skin crawl. Anybody who was not Jewish, and you're right about this, but the way they spoke about them, it was really horrifying. And it showed me a great deal about how these people truly believe that they're chosen to do something here. I don't know. It's unbelievable to me. And it was every one of them, the way they spoke. And one time I heard Isabel say to her mother, Eileen, Mommy, why do you call Maria a nobody? And she said, honey, Isabel, Maria is not a Jew. She is a nobody.
Well, it is worth
So you
pointing,
can see why for about 20
that type
years.
of stuff I might actually include just because the Maxwell family has
You
ties
should
to
include
this
it.
group
You
that's,
should include it.
What's it called? Chabad Lubavitch. And
Oh,
group
got it.
openly talks about how only Jews are human and the rest of human beings are like cattle, basically.
Children of hell, blind guides, whited sepulchres, full of dead men's bones. He even described the Pharisees as children of their father the devil, a murderer from the beginning. The Talmud confirms Christ's words. In the Talmud, in Treatise Sanhedrin, an extensive passage describes the right of the Pharisee to kill anyone, just as long as he did so indirectly. As one of dozens of examples, the Talmud tells us that if one bound his neighbor and he died of starvation, he is not liable to execution. In such an indirect manner, the Pharisees also killed Christ. Manipulating the Romans to actually wield the spear and sword, the Pharisees claimed, as their descendants do today, that since the Romans were the direct cause of the death of Christ, it is the Romans, not the Jews, who are guilty. Christ also called the Pharisees adulterers, an adulterous generation. The Talmud provides generous loopholes for adultery. It says the penalty for adultery does not include sex with a minor, the wife of a minor, or the wife of a heathen. The Talmud also encourages seduction of unwed adolescent girls called designated bondmaids. But it's important how such rapes are performed. With the designated bondmaid, one is guilty only in the case of natural connection, but not in the case of perverse connection. The Pharisees reasoned that rape in a perverted manner is outside the jurisdiction of the law. Normal rape, however, was punishable. In Babylon, sexual perversion of every kind had been a way of life for millenniums. The Pharisees were deeply influenced by such practices.
You can't believe a Jew because the Father said they're liars. In Kings, chapter 16, you will find that Jacob Israel, Yahweh's people, was at war with the Jews and drove the Jews from Eloth. And yet, those who call themselves a Jew today claim the first 5 books of the Bible is theirs, and they call it the Torah. Now, we have a problem here. If they say the first 5 books are theirs, and yet you can go through the first 11 books and not even see the word Jew. I mean, hello? Don't you find it most interesting and rather strange that those who claim to have written the first 5 books of the Bible and call themselves a Jew, they can't find the word Jew written anywhere in the book that they claim is their own, Yahweh in the flesh, who most referred to as Jesus, and he is the Almighty God in the flesh, as John chapter 1 verses 1 to 9 tell you, who most referred to as Jesus, tells John in Revelation chapter 2 verse 9, I know the blasphemy or the lies of them which say they are Jews and are not, but they are of the synagogue of Satan. There's 2 children, see? Physical. This isn't spiritual here. Right. It says that Satan has children on the earth, and then the Father made it very easy for you to understand in John 8:44, where he said to the Jews, as he was talking to them in John 8:31, as he spoke to the Jews, now in John 8:44 he said to the Jews, you are of your father the devil. Oh, there we go back to Matthew. There's the enemy. And he says, you're liars, thieves, and murderers. And then he said in John 8:47, you are not even of God. Why couldn't they have been of God? Because they were of Satan, they were of the devil. Isn't that hard? But you see, when you go up here, and what we just talked about, they are the synagogue of Satan. They are the Christ murderers. They are the Yahweh murderers. That's right. They are the thieves of the U.S. Treasury today. That's right. They are the murder butchers of the undeclared wars of our young men and women all over the world to make money and grab oil and natural gas deposits and do what they can to plunder and pillage all over the world using the blood and flesh of our young boys and girls in the military. All right? And this is where we're coming from. In John the Divine, in Revelations 2:9, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. But they can't prove it, do you understand? Which say, well, they can say anything. They can, oh, the cow jumped over the moon. It doesn't mean there's a cow that can jump over the moon. That's no different than the Jews being Yahweh's children. Which say, you can't believe a Jew because the Father said they're liars. And they've taken over your Senate and your Congress in Washington. They've taken over most of your state capitals and the entire banking industry of the world, including the United States of America.
The Illuminati Jews, okay, the rich Zionist billionaires who have grouped themselves together in various organizations and control, as you will see, they control the United States of America, they control Russia, the world's supposed second greatest power, and they control even the Middle East through having the nation of Israel there in its midst with over 400 nuclear weapons and chemical and biological weapons. And they control the whole world through the power of the United Nations, not only its diplomacy. But remember, Israel today controls the military of the United States. If you control the president and the politicians of America, you control its military forces. Our military forces, my friends, are on alert 24 hours a day around this globe, and I believe they are mercenaries today for the nation of Israel. And so that great city, Jerusalem, Mystery Babylon in the last days, the city run by the Illuminati and its leader, we're talking also about the United States and Russia, the combination, everything coming together in the last days.
Everybody's got to keep moving. Everybody's got to keep moving, please.
The only other thing that was found was the engine on Murray Street, and the engine on Murray Street has been identified as either a CFM 56. CFM stands for Senecma, or the CF6 which was a 767 engine, which was developed out of the CFM 56. But whichever one it was, the CF6 or the CFM 56, it had to be General Electric. And unfortunately, or fortunately, United Airlines used strictly Pratt & Whitney. So that engine that you see flying off, and that engine they say is from 175, isn't from 175 because the guys whose job was to dump it off there dumped off the wrong engine.
World Financial Center, we heard a big bang, and then we saw smoke coming out, and everybody started running out, and we saw the plane on the other side of the building, and there was smoke everywhere, and people are jumping out the windows. Over there, they're jumping out the windows, I guess because they're trying to save themselves. I don't know. And I don't know, everybody just doesn't know where to go. They won't let, everything is blocked off. You can't even, they're telling us to get out, but there's nowhere to go. And then I heard that another plane hit, and if you go over by there, you can see the people jumping out the window. They're jumping out the window right now. Oh my God.
As a typical American, before 9/11, I was like, you know what, just set it out. You could all just fall into the middle of the sea, and it doesn't matter to me, because you're always fighting. Now 9/11 happened, I thought, gee, maybe I should pay attention to this.
I wrote a book in 1995, and I said that if the West doesn't wake up to the suicidal nature of militant Islam, the next thing you'll see is the militant Islam is bringing down the World Trade Center.
You can tell a lot about terrorists, but what happens when they come to power? Those who fight for freedom and come to power do not impose terrorism. Those who do, who fight in terroristic means, end up as being masters of terrorist states in Libya, in Algeria, and other countries that support and practice terrorism. Not terrorism. Because what terrorists do is target the innocent deliberately. And therefore my definition of terrorism is the systematic and deliberate attack, the murder, maiming, and menacing of innocents, of civilians, for political goals.
אני יודע מה זה אמריקה, אמריקה זה דבר שאפשר להזיז אותו בקלות, להזיז לכיוון הנכון. לא יפריעו.
אז שאני אנחנו עושים את זה משהו, אז הם...
יש עליה, אז נניח שהם אומרים משהו. 80% מהאמריקאים תומכים בה. זה אבסורד.
I don't know if you've been on Twitter recently. Now, a ton of people are questioning the validity of the Holocaust having happened.
Yes.
Can you tell me with a straight face that those are the 18-year-old kids at Columbia that are doing that?
The 18-year-old kids at Columbia?
Are they doing those posts about the Holocaust never having existed? You know who's doing it.
No, we disagree here.
You think that it's the...
So I didn't... You don't put words in my mouth.
It's people on the right. Let me tell you...
You're suggesting that there's... You're suggesting there's no... You're suggesting there's no one on the far left that denies the Holocaust? Or downplays the Holocaust? That's an absurd
What are
statement.
you're doing moot court right now? I'm telling you what it's like to be my experience being Jewish.
Yeah, but there are others who have a different
I'm trying to see why is one better than the other? Why is one more important than the other? I'm trying to share with you. You're in the government. I don't get a chance to talk.
Of course.
Okay. I think hatred of Jewish people has exploded in this country, and I don't think it's. I think it's because it's of our support of what looks to be an absolute brutality. And I think that...
You think that's a justification for anti-Semitism?
Here's the thing.
You think Israeli government policy is a justification for anti-Semitism? My view is there's no justification for anti-Semitism.
I think that...
There's zero justification for anti-Semitism.
Okay, you're deflecting again.
I'm not deflecting, that's my position.
What does it look like to have a flag with a Jewish star and I'm Jewish? And for kids to be starving right now. Why is my government... I don't want to do this fight. Let's not do like a yelling at each other thing. I really just... For me, I had the experience of...
It just sounds like you're justifying anti-Semitism, which making me feel like...
Are you crazy right now?
Okay.
Why would I do that? You're doing the I'm Hamas thing?
I'm not saying you're Hamas,
not a winner.
But I think there should be...
We'll do a different tack.
Israeli government policy should have no bearing on If you have disagreements with the Israeli government, you should voice your criticism of the Israeli government, but there is no justification for intimidation or harassment against American Jews.
I'm telling you as a Jew right now that we are receiving a lot more hate because of what the people with a flag that has a Jewish star on are doing to other people right now.
That might
and
be
I'm telling you as a Jewish person how painful it is for us to say, and it hurts my stomach to say this, so you're going to say, I disagree, that this is a genocide. And that hurts to say that a Jew could do that. It hurts because we grew up with learning about what hatred is. We grew up learning about this.
New York City, New York. American Airlines Flight 11 is allegedly flown into the North Tower by Mohammed Atta. This is the widely known video of the attack, shot by Jules Naudet. At face value, it may not look like much. However, upon closer inspection, in case you missed it, one more time. If you look closely, you'll notice that the shadow of the plane meets the building after the flash occurs. This means that the flash is not the fuselage colliding with the building, but rather a separate event. Not to mention that the flash is twice as wide as the fuselage itself. Within minutes of the attack, news teams from all over the city had their cameras trained on the World Trade Center. Therefore, the second impact was covered by almost every conceivable angle. This footage was shot by CNN. On the underside of the fuselage, an extra piece of equipment is visible. When questioned about this, Boeing representatives refused to discuss it due to national security. This is what the underside of a Boeing 767 should look like. The following footage is taken from the documentary Why the Towers Fell. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bring it back. Did you catch that? A missile is fired seconds before impact. Skeptics claim that the flash is the fuselage colliding with the building. If that were the case, it would look like this. Also, notice that the flash is reflected in the fuselage of the plane. The flash is also present in footage taken by Evan Fairbanks, Jennifer Spell, and CNN. Al-Qaeda certainly couldn't have added this equipment at Logan International Airport. And even if they did, the flight crew would have noticed it. So where did this plane come from?
The leaders of the Western world have called you a terrorist, Colonel Gaddafi.
Your government is a terrorist government. Reagan is the biggest terrorist in the world. You are far from the civilization. We are a nation of civilization. We defend our country, our terrorism. We want to live free on our land. We want to live happy in our land, peacefully. But you don't want this. You, the Western countries, particularly United States, the government of the United States of America and the British government, they want to invade our territory.
In what way?
Our land. They don't want to live happy, to live in peace, to live in our country freely. We didn't go to United States of America or to England to invade them. We are in our homeland, and you want to take us here. We have the right to fight here and to follow our enemies everywhere. You must know since now.
Sir, are you afraid?
There is no international law allows British government or United States of America to protect terrorism.
In what way has England
and to export terrorism? If they want to export terrorism, we will do what is our right
Are you
against this government.
Are you afraid of other attempts being made on your life?
No, I'm not afraid at all.
Thank you, sir.
Look, we came, we saw, and he died.
What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready.
Seal.
What word?
Seal.
Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready.
Play.
Yes, play. Get ready.
Must.
Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Yes, kit. Get ready.
Steal.
Yes, steal. Get ready.
Play.
Yes, playing. Get ready.
Must.
Yes, must.
About 20 stories below, at least that's what it looked like to me, about 75 flights up below the fire, I saw from the corner, boom, 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 boom. Just like 20 straight hits just went down, and then I just saw the whole building just went, and as the bombs were going, people just started running, and I sat there and watched a few of them explode, and then I just turned around, and I just started running for my life, because at that point, the World Trade Center was coming right down, right above us, and everybody ran as fast as they possibly could, and I don't know how many people didn't make it, but I know that I went back in there about an hour later, and I don't know what a war zone's like, but if that's anything like it, I don't ever want to see it, because the fire trucks that were there originally were on fire, windows were blown out, cars were exploding, the bridge that overlaps, that goes across, that I was working on, is down. There's big holes in the side of buildings that the explosion fired out to.
Why do you need thousands of nukes? It makes no sense, just even on that basis.
Yeah, I mean, and just the fact that nukes are ridiculous. 11,000 year half-life of the radiation. But meanwhile, people, plants, and animals still live in Nevada, in Hiroshima, Nagasaki. They're thriving. None of this is true. There's actual video of troops stacking TNT at ground zero in Nagasaki, in Hiroshima, prior to the explosions. All of the buildings that didn't have fireproofing burned down. The ones that had fireproofing were somehow nuke resistant, right? 3 days later, the sandwich shops were open, the trains were running, they were selling flowers on the street, and no one was allowed to report on it. They put in jail except one guy that worked for the Associated Press or whatever agency. It's so obvious, it's so stupid, but people want to hold on to their nukes, they want to hold on to their globe, and they want to scream and kick and defend it, and they don't even know anything about it.
And like you said, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, you see, even just like before we drop the nukes, when we see like the old testing videos, or maybe that's after, whenever the fear mongering, seeing all the black and white videos that we were watching. Yeah, okay, that was before, obviously, at like White Sands, New Mexico and stuff. And you see those videos and you realize, even Joe Rogan and people call them out, they're like, dude, these are sets. Like, people back then, they were so scared because that's all they had to see. But nowadays, hindsight, looking back, you're like, this is such clearly bullshit.
So hard. It's a clear little model, and there's all sorts of anomalies. I have one where it's from the plane that dropped the bomb, or some other military plane, and it shows a bomb going off on some island, nuclear bomb, boom. Now a nuclear explosion, it will knock over trees, it'll knock over people, it'll pulverize houses. Will it affect the cloud? The nuclear bomb blows up and its explosion mushroom goes through a cloud. Do you think the cloud would be affected? The answer is, of course, it would just be obliterated. We show the clouds, the nuclear bomb explodes, engulfs the whole thing, passes through it. When the whole mushroom disappears, the exact same clouds are there.
Of course, yeah.
It's just fake as death.
Right. And I mean, yeah, you said the name of the plane. It reminded me, the name of the plane is Inola Gay. And you're like, yeah, they even put it right there. It's like nukes they're faking gay. It's right there in the name. I didn't think of that till just now.
I didn't think of that until you just said it. So I like it. Yeah, everything's faking gay.
It really is.
Let
us face, without panic, the reality of our times. The fact that atom bombs may someday be dropped on our cities. And let us prepare for survival, understanding the weapon that threatens us. An atom bomb destroys or injures in three ways: by blast, heat, and radioactivity. The blast of an atom bomb is its most important destructive agent. In Japan, whole buildings were flattened by its force. However, many buildings of sturdy construction, even though close to the explosion, remained standing. The principal dangers of blast are flying glass and debris, the fires it may start, and the danger of being crushed in collapsing buildings. The atom bomb destroys by heat. People caught in the open as far as 2 miles away suffered flash burns. Yet, protection could have been easily achieved. Here, a bridge post and rail shielded the surface behind it. Any solid material afforded similar protection. The third weapon of the bomb is radioactivity, thrown off at the instant of explosion. However, the majority of people exposed to radiation recovered completely, including a large percentage of those who suffered serious radiation sickness. Today, they lead normal lives. They bear children. Their children are normal. These, then, are the weapons of the atom bomb that we must protect against: blast, heat, and radioactivity. Our cities are prime targets for atomic attack, but mass evacuation would be dangerous. An enemy would like nothing better than to have us leave our cities empty and unproductive. If an emergency should come, our factories will be battle stations. Production must go on if we are to win. Our offices and homes will also be posts of duty, not to be deserted. With the knowledge of the first atomic explosions to guide us, our chances for survival will be far better than those of the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, if we act on our knowledge and are prepared. The first job is to look over your own home for shelter possibilities. If you live in a private home that is well built, the cellar is the safest place to be. The lower you get, the more barriers there are likely to be against blast, heat, and radioactivity. Select the basement wall nearest the probable target area of your city. If the house is blown over, it will most likely fall away from this wall. If you have a workbench or strong table big enough to get under, move it into your shelter area near a wall or strong supporting column. If the time comes when you actually have to take shelter, lie under the table. If you live in a home that has no basement, choose a shelter area without windows on the ground floor. An interior hallway is probably best. In time of emergency, the shelter area should be cleared of mirrors and other objects that might cause injury. If you live in an apartment house, rules for taking shelter will be posted in your building. Learn them. Also, learn the location of public shelters in areas where you work or frequently visit. There are many things you can begin doing right now. Fireproof housekeeping is one, so clean up that attic. Keep waste in covered containers. Don't let trash pile up in the yard. Set aside a small supply of canned goods. They're safe from radioactivity. Have a good flashlight on hand. Electric lights may go out. Keep a first aid kit and learn how to stop bleeding. Make a habit of keeping a bottle of fresh water handy. A radio will be important for receiving vital instructions. Finally, prepare the shelter area and collect all necessary shelter equipment. In case of an actual raid or test drill, the alert will be a warbling siren blast, lasting 3 minutes. Once you hear this, act fast. down the shades or blinds and close the drapes against flying glass. Turn off the burners of your gas or electric stove. Disconnect any heating elements, such as electric irons, hot plates, or bathroom heaters. Close all outside doors, but leave them unlocked. Turn off the gas or oil burners. Taking shelter may be a race against time, even when you have some advance warning. But possibly, there may be no time. An attack could come without warning. The sky would suddenly light up. If a doorway is right at hand, use it. If the nearest shelter is more than a couple of steps away, fall to the ground immediately. Flying glass and debris are immediate dangers, so stay where you are.
Cursed be the ground, for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are, and to the dust we shall return.
I got 100 on my dash, got 200 in my trunk. Lean in the grab bags, put my Bible in the trunk. Like a vodka on the top of my binocular trunk.
What'd he say? I think he meant kill him.
How can I make a popular pop when I want it?
Not as good as he not. All the time.
See, I'm living with anxiety, ducking the sobriety.
Where are you going?
West.
Can I come with you?
No.
There's no doubt that the threats we face today from hostile drones grow by the day. Emerging technologies, we see it in battlefields in far-flung places, and we see it on our own border. In small, unmanned aerial systems, UAS, can serve to target and bring harm on our warfighters, our people, our bases, and frankly, the sovereignty of our national airspace. And that's why today I'm directing the Secretary of the Army to formally establish the Joint Interagency Task Force 401, or JIATF 401. It's a new unified team that's going to bring together our best talent from all our agencies to counter these threats and restore control.
Correct. I am now about to launch Gideon, America's first ever AI threat detection platform built specifically for law enforcement. It scrapes the internet 24/7 using an Israeli-grade ontology to pull specific threat language and then routes it to local law enforcement. It's a 24/7 detective. It never sleeps, and it's going to get us in front of these attacks.
Would it have picked up on this, do you think?
100%. I wish my program would already be up. We're not launching until next week. I've got a dozen agencies on board, Trace. I just unloaded a major Northeast agency with over 2,700 sworn. This is America's early warning system.
What? No. I should show the slides. There was a meeting with biopharma, the military, DARPA, right? ASPR. Like, they went to the largest biopharma conference every year that happens, and there was a half day dedicated to medical countermeasures. Now, medical countermeasures are supposed to be used in emergency. So this is very strange. So the DOD already has in mind, okay, we've already picked out some event coming up sometime in the future, and with the medical countermeasures, the biopharma companies can start manufacturing them prior to getting FDA authorization or approval. That's how the COVID shots got stockpiled, right? So, and that's why the CEO of Moderna let it slip out that he started manufacturing the shots in 2019. So my point is, there was a half-day meeting at Bio this year, and I want to show you guys the slides. I think we should go to it so they can see it themselves.
Yeah.
On medical countermeasures. Okay, all right. So here, let me hit slide.
Wow, so this is what's coming. So they're planning some more evil for us.
There's something. Share. Okay, entire screen. This is share. Okay, let me know when I think you can see it.
There we go. Yep, there we go.
All right. figure out how to use my mouse. I'm sorry. I'm looking up at the screen behind the screen.
It's okay.
Let me find.
Oh, this works good.
This. Okay. So this meeting happened in June, like I said, and you can see it good?
Yes, I can. Perfect. Yeah, right. Full screen.
Okay, it is full screen. Okay. So this was actually a full half day. It went to noon. Look, so it's again, it's at the Bio International Convention. So this is the largest lobbying group in the world for the biopharma industry, right? They were the ones that were trying to stop Mike Gallagher from interfering with biopharma's manufacturing and our research and development partners in China. They're trying to shut all that down. So they're huge. And so the half-day meeting was partnering with U.S. government to achieve our national security mission. So that's not a national health mission, right? They're talking about another situation where they're saying something is going to come up where there is a public health threat, right? An outbreak or whatever, toxic chemical, and it's a threat to the public health that's going to be a threat to national security. This is so pre-planned, and the date is June 16th, 2020. So if you go to the next slide, just look at this.
June 16th, 2025.
This is 2025. Yeah. This just happened. This was a month ago.
Yeah.
Less than a month ago, 3 weeks ago. Advancing defense readiness. DoD partnerships for medical countermeasures. Join current DoD officials, defense policy experts, and seasoned government affairs professionals for a conversation focused on how the Department of Defense is shaping the next generation of public-private partnerships to support the rapid development and deployment of medical countermeasures, right? So they're saying we're going to deploy on the American people. They're going to just use AI. They're not going to do any safety testing, any efficacy testing. They're going to make dual-use products, which can also be used as weapons of mass destruction, as medical countermeasures. This should be alarming that they're having these meetings, and they've already rewritten the laws, Greg, so that the next time that they deploy these medical countermeasures, the PrEP Act is going to look like a walk in the park. So like my brief reading of it looks like they're going to make basically, whether it's police, a doctor, they're going to default become employees, let's say, of the DoD during this time. So I think it's going to be I think something is planned. I don't know if it's this fall or next year. So again, another.
So are they going to force people to take injections?
That possibly could happen. But also they're looking at different ways to deploy the what we're calling the vaccine. So they may not do an injection. They may spray down a school. They may spray down a cruise ship. They may spray down a community, right? They may make them transdermal. So right, you just go and just plot, just touch someone with a vaccination gun or whatever, or a Band-Aid or whatnot. So this is just very alarming. Again, the title here: catalyzing funding for antivirals, preserving the medical countermeasure enterprise. They've turned military dual-use bioweapons into an industry. And that's what I've been saying now for over 4 years, which is why I'm saying it's not a quote-unquote secret military operation. DARPA has been funding these dual-use products, and they've created markets from them. Oh my God.
God has us instructed to describe. Fuck you, I'm recording, asshole.
I'm sorry, I thought you were...
Did you see the fucking camera? Fuck you.
I thought you were King Terry.
Yeah, fuck.
I've been watching your videos.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay, I just wanted...
I thought you were just some bum trying to get a cigarette and I'm recording it.
No, you're quite alright. It's quite okay. I watched your videos. I just wanted to say have a good day.
Okay, sorry about that.
See you.
Okay, bye.
Radar station. Do you think they care?